Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to today's Wednesday live session. Now, I've had lots of new members in the group over the last few weeks, so let me just take a moment to introduce myself for anybody who doesn't know me. My name is Pascal. I am a relationship and confidence coach, and welcome to our wonderful community. If you are new, or maybe you're just watching this for the first time, watching one of these live sessions for the first time, and you are very welcome here too. So today I am talking about the importance of having healthy relationships, okay, for all aspects of our life. And I just kind of slightly paused and hesitated then, because a lot of the work that I do is with women. I work with couples as well, but I work predominantly with women on their relationships. And the main focus of that tends to be love relationships, intimate partnerships, husbands, wives, partners, whatever. But, you know, I'm a massive believer that all of our relationships are important. And because all of our relationships are important, everything that we talk about in relation to our partnership relationship kind of transcends into all of our relationships. I also do a lot of work around parenting. And I always say that even if what we are putting into practice with our partners, whatever I say about putting into practice with our partners applies to our children too, and applies to our friends and our loved ones. So I alternate. Obviously, there's some stuff that I will talk about that is just for partnerships. If we're talking about sex and stuff like that, that's obviously only just for your partner, maybe. But if we're talking about kind of like communication, confidence, self-esteem, boundaries, self-care, all of that kind of stuff, that applies to how we are with our children and our friends and our loved ones as well. So just want to kind of like get that out there, because when I was thinking about how to do this today, and when I was thinking about the importance of I'm a massive believer in good relationships. I mean, obviously, I'm a relationship coach, so I'm going to say that. I'm a relationship coach because I'm a massive believer in relationships, and not just the relationship with my husband. All of my relationships are hugely important to me. And yes, my relationship with my husband is massively important to me, but so is the relationship with my children, and so is the relationship with my friends. So they are all relevant. Now, this is up for debate, right? Or this is not up for debate. This is a conversation, like, and we are all absolutely free to have our own opinions, our own experiences, our own interpretations on the situation, and that is absolutely fine. Because some people will say that your relationship with your partner is the most important relationship of all. Some will say that your relationship with your children is the most important. Some will say your relationship with your friends. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because in a way, you're like, everybody is right. And as a relationship coach and a trained relationship therapist, I don't prioritize the relationship with my husband over and above everybody else, whether that is right or wrong to some people or not. I just don't, because all of my relationships bring me something else, and this is the really important thing. So I'm going to just put I'm just going to put my my phone on do not disturb, just because I don't want messages coming through and interrupting me. Because all of our relationships give us something else. So whilst we can talk about the importance of a long-term intimate relationship, that might be the be-all and end-all for some people, but it's absolutely not the focus for other people. And that's, it's down to you to decide what you want out of your relationships. What we do know, what is fact, is that as human beings, we were born to connect with people. We were born to we were born to be a community. We were born to bond. We have a need for connection. We have a need for having a sense of belonging. So, you know, that isn't to say that there are not people out there who don't want it, who like living on their own. Some people like living on their own. I think there's probably various reasons why that might be. Not part of this conversation now, but the overwhelming majority of people are born and made and desire connection with others. So whether or not that is with an intimate partner or with a best friend, will greatly depend on also your experience and whether or not you have had positive experiences with love and connection, or whether you have had bad experiences with love and connection, and how that has affected your path. So, okay, so I mean, I kind of like waffle on about that a little bit, but it's quite important to make that distinction, because when I talk about having healthy relationships, you know, all of your relationships are important. And to sound really super cheesy, the most important relationship will always be the one with yourself. Absolutely always. So even though I work in relationships and I work with individuals and I work with couples and like all of that, blah, 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 80% of the work that we do is with you as an individual. It's looking at your story. It's looking at your self-esteem, your confidence, how you feel about yourself, where you put your boundaries for how you want to be treated by any of your relationships. Yeah, in the Thrive program, we've got a whole module. We've got modules on friendships. So it's not just about your partners. It's about friendships. It's about confidence. It's about self-care. It's about your mindset. It's about how you position yourself within your relationships. That's the most important thing, because where you position yourself is where you set the bar for how everybody else is going to treat you. So it's about saying, this is what I want, this is what I expect from my relationships, and this is how I expect you to treat me. That's the important. That's why self-confidence and self-esteem is so vital in a healthy relationship, because if you don't feel good about yourself and you don't set the standard for yourself, then why on earth is anyone around you going to do it? They're not going to. And if you have a history of bad choices, then that's as much about how you feel about yourself and how you want to be treated and what you are inviting in, as it is about literally just having bad luck with men or women. Okay. So coming back to that is always, we always loop back to that in the end. All of the relationship work that I do always loops back in the end to, how do you feel about yourself? What are your triggers? What is pushing your buttons? What is it you want? What is it you need? What is it you desire most from your relationships? All comes back in the end to how you feel about yourself, and what you feel you are worth and what you feel you deserve. So that's kind of like that's the background. That's the broad kind of brushstrokes on the background of the picture, and that's really important. That's the most important part to get right, because once we understand that, then we can start now kind of like understanding, okay, so what is it about our relationships that are saying, why is my relationship so important to every aspect of my life? Like what a huge sweeping statement that is, Pascal. How do you justify that statement? And I justify that statement really easily, because how we feel in ourselves affects everything that we do. And you know that. You know that when you have had an argument with your partner or an argument with your child, and the atmosphere in the house is horrible, you know how that affects everything that you do and everything that you touch. You know, going to work and being focused on your work. I mean, let's go big here, right? Let's go big. I've never been divorced. I've seen a lot of very messy divorces. If you are going through a divorce, or you're going through an acrimonious separation, or you're just going through a really shit time with your partner, how does that affect how you show up? How does that affect how you show up at work? How does it affect how you feel about yourself? How you look after yourself? How you look after your body and your well-being and your nutrition and your exercise, your alcohol intake, how focused you are on the job, how well you're sleeping. I mean, God, we could just do a whole session on sleep all by itself. It has an enormous impact on everything that we do. I know if I've dropped my kids off in the morning and we've had a stressful morning, I mean, mine are babies, they're only 6 and 9. But I mean, like, having a stressful morning with them can completely knock out my day. Completely knock out my day. And I don't even let them go in the school gates without hugs and kisses. But that it will still knock out my day if I feel like we've had a bad morning. So, and that's just, look, that's just Amelie not being able to find her recorder. It's not even a big deal. So, you know, it's vitally important. I run my own business. I show up and I do this every single day, and I absolutely love it. I've got the best job in the world, absolutely no shadow of a doubt. But when my husband and I are going through a difficult period, we're just going through muddy water. It's hard. It's hard. I don't sleep well. I lack energy. I don't feel focused. I don't feel motivated. Conversely, when everything is going well, and our relationships are good and our relationships are strong, we can attack the day. You know, we can go for it. We can get so much out of our day. We walk down the street with a smile on our face. People smile back at us and say good morning. You know, even a glimpse of sunshine brightens up your day. Like our tone of voice is different. You can hear it in my voice now, even just talking about it. It's so different. It has such a huge impact. And so that's why relationships are so important. That's why all of our relationships are so important. My friendships, like I said at the beginning, my friendships are as important to me as my relationship with my husband. Without a shadow of a doubt, I need my friends as much as I need my husband. An afternoon out with my friends, and even if, like, literally taking the kids to the park and meeting up and drinking coffee in the park for 3 hours, which one of my friends and I do a little bit less regularly this year, but certainly, like, we used to do it all the time, at least once a month. Was just food for my soul. A night out, having dinner and drinks with your friends, and all the cackling that goes on. It's absolute. It's gold dust. You can't beat it. If those are the relationships that you have and those are the relationships that you want. So all of our relationships are important. And it's so important for it's okay. So if we go through stressful times, if we have difficult times in our relationships, it's very simple. Our cortisol levels are raised. Our stress hormone is released, and that ultimately is a stressor for the body. That's there as the fight or flight response, right? That's a hormone that has a function and is very necessary, but we don't want it soaring through our brain and our veins every day. That's not what it's there for. So if you are living in a permanent state of stress and anxiety, you've permanently got that stress hormone running through your body. Like, it doesn't make sense when you think about it like that. It doesn't make sense. Women and children that are in abusive households have permanently raised levels of cortisol, and it's just not good. It's not good for concentration. It's not good for it's just not good for your physical or emotional well-being. And so there again, the importance of good relationships is about having harmony, is about having is about bonding. It's about having that sense of attachment, that sense of connection that we all want and that we all need, and knowing that we matter to somebody is so important. Whoever it is that we matter to, knowing that we matter to somebody is vital for the soul, I think. God, I mean, I think if I went through life not thinking that I mattered to anybody, I think that would be absolutely devastating. Absolutely devastating. So what do we need in order to have good, healthy relationships? What does that mean? I mean, there's no rocket science here. This is all pretty straightforward stuff. In order for us to feel good about ourselves and to have good connection with others, we need to have two things that I talk about all the time, which is good communication and trust. And any relationship, regardless of what that relationship is built on communication and trust. And actually, I'm working with a couple at the moment who are actually they're actually siblings, adult siblings, and we're working through some of their childhood trauma, and the importance to them, and they're both married with their own families and settled, but the importance to them of being able to work through this together as a couple, if you like, and strengthen their communication and their understanding and their trust is an absolutely integral part of the work that we're doing. And they both said yesterday how essential that bond is for them in order to be able to start their healing journey. So, married couples need communication and trust. If you haven't got communication and trust in your marital relationship, I don't know where you go from there, because you have to do the work. If you haven't got it, you've got to find it. You've got to find a way of having it, because you can't have a relationship without good communication and trust. It can't be done, not in my opinion anyway. But that goes out to our friendships as well. In our friendships, we need to have good communication and trust, because even if we're talking about our friends, like if you can't talk to your friends and you don't trust your friends, then are they really your friends? It's like I said, this isn't rocket science, right? This is basic, because we're talking about working together. We're talking about, I mean, I always say this. I'm being very repetitive, but I'm being very repetitive because I'm very passionate about what I talk about and the work that I do. We want to be a team, right? My husband and I, we want to be a team. It doesn't mean that we're not each other going to knock heads, but ultimately we want to be a team. My best friend and I, we are a team. We are each other's soundboards for life, whether that's relationships, work, children, family, whatever. We are each other's soundboard. Like, she is absolutely as important to me in my life as my husband is. She's a complete rock. And that doesn't come without excellent communication, 100% trust, and knowing that whatever difficulties we have, we are a team. We're all working towards the same goal. We do this in couple work. What are your goals? What are your shared values? You don't have to have the same goals, but you have to be able to respect each other's goals, and you have to have the same values. Because if we don't have the same values, then we can all right, there may be some things that we're different on, and that's okay. It's okay to have differences. I'm not saying you need to be kind of like joined at the hip and only have one opinion between the two of you, but largely speaking, you need to be connected in your values, because if you're not, then it's too easy then for difficulties to come up and put a wedge between you. Ultimately, most couples have got shared values, I would argue, and if they haven't, then they either need to put their differences aside and not make it an issue, or they'll be arguing quite a lot. Yeah, I think that's about it, actually. I think I've covered it all. I've gone into a bit of a verbal diarrhea there. I didn't even ask if anybody had any comments or questions. If you are watching, please do feel free to comment. If you are, I can't see any names coming up at the moment. I can see I've got a couple of people live watching me. If you are watching on replay, please do put your comments. I haven't seen any comments, so I'm hoping that I'm not going to come off and see a load of comments. So if you have commented, I do apologise. Also, just to let you know that I'm doing I've got a flash sale going on with the Thrive programme this week. Because I'm manifesting some big changes into my life. I'm big on manifestation. I'm big on the law of attraction. If you've been following me, you'll know how aware I am. How big I am on all of that. And so I'm manifesting some money. And in order to manifest some money, I want to get some new clients on board, and really put some energy into helping as many of you lovely ladies to sort your relationships out, get your life where you want it to be, and get on track. So if you would like to know more about working with me, if you would like to know more about my flash sale, which is for this week only, please do get in touch. Let me know, and we can arrange a chat and I can talk that through with you. All right. Have a wonderful rest of week as always, and I will catch up with you next week. Take care. Bye bye.